Welcome back to the Fierce Fish First Tech Challenge CAD modeling tutorial series. Our goal in this series is to provide guidance in using Autodesk Inventor for First Tech Challenge. In today's video, we are going to be looking at the 3D Create tools. So now we're going to step out of the realm of 2D sketches, and we're going to make our sketches 3D parts now. So I'm inside of a sketch. Here we got a 1x1 square here. I'm going to finish the sketch, and you'll see we've got, since this is on the XY plane, we've got kind of this profile here. And now let's take a look at the Create tools. They are up here right next to Start 2D Sketch, and we've got all kinds of tools. We're only going to look at some of them because a couple of them you'll never use for any situation in First Tech Challenge. I've never even used them for anything, some of them. So we're going to start out here with the Extrude tool. This is probably the most common one that you are going to use. So let's click on it. And as we see, we have our pop-up window here. So typically you would select the profile that you want. I have another situation coming up where we're going to select the profile. And then this, we're going to talk about this in the next situation. But right now what we're going to worry about is this extents here. So if I want to keep it a cube, I'll go 1 inch. But here's the thing, we can choose what direction we want it to go in. Right now it's coming at us, direction 1. We can go direction 2. We can make it symmetric so that that sketch is in the middle. Or we can do kind of an offset thing, where if we wanted 0.5 and 0.5, or that's kind of dumb, 0.25 and 0.75 there. But I'm just going to do direction 1 at 1 right now, and then you press OK. Now you'll see we got our cube here. So let's also try to create a new sketch in the meantime. You'll see the coordinate plane does not pop up anymore, because we've got faces here that we can start our sketches on. So after you do your first 3D action, you are no longer using the plane. You can still use the plane by going in here and clicking on it, but you mainly are going to be using faces from there on out. Faces or other work planes that you generate from there on out. So now our second extrude example, you'll see the profile is not selected automatically for us. We got to select it. Let's say I want this outside profile. I got to click it. Then I still do the same things I just did there. And now you'll see we got the circle cut on the inside. So now I have another extrude example where extrude is not only used for creating things, but it can also be used for cutting things. So I have kind of this like oddly drawn box here and another sketch on top of the box with a circle in it. And let's say I don't want that circle to come out. Instead I want it to cut. I can, right now it is on join, but I can do cut and then select what distance I want, and you'll see I selected 0.25, so it only goes in there for 0.25. Now to edit an extrusion, we got this sidebar here. You can double click on it and the pop-up menu will come back up. Let's also talk about the other extents here. We got 2 next, and it'll automatically identify what the next face is. We got 2, so you can click a face if you have multiple faces there. We've got between, and that's if you have faces that you can go between. We've got all, which just goes through the entire thing. And you got distance from face, so I could go to there. Wait, maybe not. I've never used that one anyways. You'll never use that one, I don't think. You'll probably just use a certain distance if you want to get that distance properly. So that pretty much exhausts the extrude tool. That's going to be your main tool for a lot of creations here. So let's move on to Revolve. Now I've got a situation here where we've got this kind of circle. It's not really a circle. I kind of cut it off there, and then this line here. So let's click on Revolve, and we got this thingy here. You can also do cut with Revolve, but I'm not going to show it to you. I'm just going to show you the join. So here's how we do cut, or revolve. We select the profile. There's only one profile to select. Then we select the axes. here I've created this line here. Then you'll see it revolves it, kind of like how we, like with the circular pattern, it was circled around. It is now circling around, that face is circling around this axis here. And then you can change the extents to full to an angle. You can select, say you only want a 75-degree angle. If you want the whole thing, of course it's full. We got 2 if you have another face you want to click on there. And then between. So I'm just going to leave it at full, and it kind of looks like a donut. There. So now let's go to sweep. Sweep is kind of a unique situation here. The only thing I've ever used sweep for in the first tech challenge situation is for doing string on a lift. So you may need that. So here's sweep. So it's automatically selected the profile because we only have one profile. And actually, before we do this, I should mention there's 2 sketches. This sketch here is on this plane, XZ, and this sketch is on the XY plane. Because actually, let's dive in here. Because I created this from the center point there, and it is going on and on. Now we've got this one that's just a circle on the center point as well. So when we do sweep, it's already selected the profile because I already have one. Now we just got to select the path. And it will literally extrude along that path. If you have curves in it, you're going to want to do the path. If it doesn't have curves on it, you're going to want to do parallel, but we automatically use path. Taper, we're not going to probably be too concerned with. Or taper, yeah. If we're doing string, we're not going to want to be concerned with that. And then twist, I would probably not want to even touch this. Alright, yes, and you're probably going to use path as well, because these situations, we're not going to have a guide rail or a guide surface. So you're barely ever actually going to use sweep. Oh, I got to put back in the zeros. Alright. But anyways, that is how you use the sweep tool. Okay, loft. So what loft does is, I hate to say the word as like the action that it does, but it lofts one enclosed feature from one plane to another enclosed feature on another plane. So I've got this enclosed feature here on the XZ plane, it's this rectangle, and then I got a circle up here on a work plane that is half an inch up. So let's do loft here. So I click the sketches that I want to add. So let's go here and then here. Now, as you will see, those will be lofted towards each other. I'll click OK. And let's go back in there actually, because you can do the cut as well, just like we did in Extrude. And now you'll see it is lofted up there. On how to turn the visibility off on a plane, you can just go up there, visibility, or in here, visibility, right there. And you'll see this is lofted from the square to the circle. This has kind of like this nice rounded feature there. Right? So we're going to skip coil, because that's like, you're never really going to need coil for anything. We're not coiling anything around anything here. So let's go to emboss. Emboss is strictly for text. So I have the words fierce fish on this rectangle object thing here. So I'm going to click emboss, then click the profile. It's going to automatically recognize the text. Then we do the depth. We got to select the solution, engrave from face or emboss from face. So if I do a depth of half, or let's do 0.05. You can change the color or the appearance. That's the same as these up here. But let's just leave it as default. And we can press OK. And we'll see what happens. You'll see now that it comes out of the square thing. Now if I chose the other solution, it would go into the square thing. I'm not really sure what to call this. But yeah, now you'll see it is engraved inside of the square thing. And so that is how you use the emboss tool. The derive tool, it's like a weird thing where you're like creating other parts from other parts. I don't really understand it. So we're not going to go through and I'm not even going to go through and try to explain that. You can figure that out in your own time if you so desire. But the final tool I want to show you is the rib tool. And this basically creates like I have a, let's say box, hollow box here, or a box with an open top, we could say. And I want these to be like guiding stuff. I don't even know how to describe it without using the word rib. So I am going to select these profiles here, and it'll automatically create these as sort of a rib, and you can choose the draft angles if you want a draft angle, and then you can choose like the diameter, offset, all that. And then the thickness here, let's say we want it to go 0.25 thickness, and that'll automatically change that there. Symmetrical, of course, you're not going to want to do like that. I always have used symmetrical with the rib tool. And then, oh, okay. I did not know that did that. Okay, and then we're going to press OK, and now we've got this kind of sectioned off box in there. Okay, and decal, how you would use decal, I'm not going to show you how to use it, but you would select an image from your computer and then put it in its own put an image from your computer in its own sketch. Let's say I started a sketch here, then went to image, selected an image and put it there, finished the sketch. I could use the decal to select the image and then press OK, and then it is now decaled onto that face. It is no longer standing there. It is a part of that face now. And import is just what we did to import like the step files. That's the exact same thing. So we had a very productive video today. We learned all about these 3D Create tools, and these are going to be like your bread and butter for creating parts. So thank you for watching this video, and from all of us here at Fierce Fish, we hope you have a great day.